So I was browsing the website for the new Foundation Festival that's going on right now, which is a free fly event that gets veteran players involved, helping out new players for some in-game rewards, and I found this little gem buried in the sale page for the event. It's called the Ready for Anything Career Kit, and it's on sale for $10. And it's all personal item gear, not a ship, just stuff that your player wears. And it really rubbed me the wrong way. Now, if you guys have watched my channel for a while, you'll know that I'm generally very positive about CIG. Contrary to what some of the super white knights in the community might say, the majority of the videos that I've made here on this channel are pretty positive about Star Citizen and CIG because I genuinely love the project and I want to see it succeed. But when there's a problem, I have the philosophy of calling it out because you can't get better from people constantly telling you you're amazing. Everybody makes mistakes, and in my opinion, this is one of the worst that they've made in recent history. And let me explain to you why. Now, yes, they've sold a lot of things on the website, and they're well known for selling what's commonly referred to as, somewhat comically, macro transactions, ships that can cost upwards of $2,500 US, and even packages that can go for $40K plus. So spending gobloads of money from anywhere from a set of armor all the way up to a massive ship is nothing new for people who are familiar with Star Citizen. So then you might ask, why on earth would you be upset about this little package for $10? This little kit to get people started? Here's what makes me upset about this. This is geared towards new players, and the way that it's written together here is marketed very much towards somebody who is excited about getting into the game and wants the chance to kind of experience a little bit of everything in their first experience with Star Citizen. The problem is that these new players aren't going to know that this type of gear, the stuff that you wear on your body, is stuff that you lose if you die, even if it's something you've paid for. Now, CIG have talked about for years how they're going to introduce some sort of system to allow you to get this stuff back. And in the interim, database resets have been how people have gotten their gear back, or by playing the CCU game where they melt their stuff and then get it back, which is really not a game mechanic, but a sort of janky workaround to fix the problem that new players are just not going to understand or care about. So then this method of getting it back in game doesn't yet exist. If players lose it, they lose it effectively for good. So what I know is inevitably going to happen with a new player buying this kit along with their starter ship is that they're going to die in the first hour or less playing the game and not really understand why this gear disappeared. And really, how can you expect new players to even know that starting off? The game is already difficult to understand, but the industry standard in general has always been that if you pay real money for stuff, you don't lose it. And in fact, in some countries, it's illegal to sell items that can be lost for real money in a video game, which is something that CIG is eventually going to have to address if they're not sued before they do. So in an ironic twist, what CIG's marketing team have actually done is created an item that's only going to create more animosity towards CIG for not just nickel and diming new players for kit that should probably just be available to anybody who takes the new player tutorial, but for the fact that they can just lose it immediately upon death, which happens again extremely frequently. I mean, who is a new player to Star Citizen hasn't flown their ship too fast in the atmosphere and smashed into the ground, or accidentally fallen through an elevator, or, I don't know, gotten shot by an NPC when they didn't expect it? I mean, anybody who's played Star Citizen for like an hour will know that Star Citizen is very volatile to the new player, and death is extremely likely, if not guaranteed. So this has got me thinking that whoever's responsible for this, the ideas, maybe it was marketing, has no idea what's going on, and it's to the detriment of the game. So if you want Star Citizen to succeed, this is definitely something that I think shouldn't be supported, at least not until there's a solution. What I think they should have done instead, which would have been a great gesture of goodwill towards new players and just people who've played the game in general, was, like I said, to add this into the new player tutorial as a reward, so that new players starting out get a little bit of everything so they can get started with some really basic kit that they're likely going to lose anyway within the first hour of play. But instead, someone over at CIG saw this as a monetization opportunity and just made things worse. I really hope that CIG, before monetizing things, can also consider how it can be a goodwill gesture to improve the general gameplay experience for everybody. this was one of those times where they failed that test. If at some point in the future they do have some kind of system in game, say something like insurance where you get your gear back for a lifetime if you've bought this gear on the website for real money, then I'll say, okay, this starter kit's fine. But for the time being, this being aimed towards new players was a really bad idea, and CIG should take this off the website right away and really seriously rethink who's making decisions over at marketing so they stop making decisions that make them look even worse. Look, I very rarely get upset about things. The last time I did, it was for a certain ship and it got me in hot water with a portion of the community. But sometimes I think things just need to be said. I found that the best way to get somebody to change is not to continue to enable their bad behavior, but to speak honestly with them in the hopes that they'll listen to you at some point and improve and turn over a new leaf. But who knows, maybe I'm just speaking into the ether and nothing's gonna happen and we're just gonna keep going down this path of poor monetization decisions with no consideration for gameplay. But I really hope that that's not going to be the case. These monetization decisions have far-reaching consequences, not just for turning people away from Star Citizen, but in my view, create more complications for the future of the game. Specifically, how fair the game's going to be towards people with different levels of income. I would absolutely hate for this to become something like Diablo, where you have to spend gob tons of money in order to just be competitive. Because think about it, how is this going to work in the future with these types of kits when you can get them back through some kind of insurance? Is it just going to make it so that people who've spent real money never have to worry about consequences, where they can just walk into any kind of fight and not worry about the fact that they'll lose everything, whereas the regular player who spent $45 has to worry constantly about paying for their kit once again when they die? That's not fair. That's not going to make the game fun, for me at least. I know some people will get some enjoyment over lording their income over others, but I certainly don't get that enjoyment, and I'm somebody who spent over $10,000 in the game. Granted, I'm a content creator, but maybe that's just an excuse. But I want to wrap up here because this has already gone longer than I expected. I'm not saying that CIG needs to stop monetizing ships or selling items. It's how they get their funding. It's how the game that we love is going to get made. All I'm saying is that somebody needs to make more careful decisions about what they sell and what those implications are going to be, because right now it just seems like whoever's making some of these decisions isn't thinking about it at all. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with my points or do you disagree? Let me know down in the comment section below, and also let me know what you think they should do with some of this stuff in the future to make it a more fair game for everybody. I've been Morphologist. Hope to see you guys in the next one.